what's this English grammar all about? I need your help, guys.
Yes, Gobby.
Do you know about English grammar?
Hey guys, what are you all talking about? No, Gobby. Let us ask Sandy and Shisha.
Hey guys, what's this English grammar all about?
No, guys, let us ask Fufu, the magic fish. She can help us. Hello, Fufu.
Hello, children. What's the problem?
Can you help us out of this problem?
So, children, what's the problem, huh?
Can you teach us where English grammar is used and how and why?
It's so easy. I'll teach you all. Hello, children. Now, let us all learn more about nouns. The definition for a noun is: a noun refers to the name of a person, place, animal, or a thing. Now, for example, I love chocolates. In this sentence, the word chocolate is a noun. Now, let's say Mumbai is a big city. In this sentence, children, the word city is a noun. Children, did you know that nouns can be divided into common nouns and proper nouns? Common noun refers to the common name of a person, place, or thing. Say, like the words school, dog, tree. All these words are common nouns. For example, children love sweets, and I am going to school. Children, in the above sentences, the words children, sweets, and school are all common nouns. Now that we have spoken about common nouns, children, let us now speak about proper nouns. A proper noun refers to the particular name of a person, place, or thing. And always remember that a proper noun always begins with a capital letter. Just like the words James, Mumbai, and December. All these words begin with a capital letter. For example, Tom likes toys and Jenny is a good girl. In the above two sentences, Tom and Jenny both are proper nouns. Well, children, do you know what a collective noun is? No? Never mind, I'll tell you. A collective noun refers to the name given to a group of people, animals, or things. Say, for example, an army of soldiers or a flock of sheep. Let's see some more examples of collective nouns. The crowd was shouting, I have got a bunch of flowers. In the above sentences, children, the words crowd and bunch are collective nouns. And now, children, let's learn the difference between countable and uncountable nouns. Countable nouns refer to things that can be counted. For example, Rohan has 2 bags. I have 5 pencils. In the above sentence, children, the words bags and pencils are countable nouns because they can be counted. Now let's see what uncountable nouns are. Uncountable nouns refer to things that cannot be counted. They are always singular in form. For example, I like to eat sugar. He has little milk. In the above sentences, the words sugar and milk are uncountable nouns. Because can you count sugar and milk? No. Children, did you also know that nouns can be singular or plural? A singular noun refers to one person or one thing. For example, a boy, a leaf, and a pen. Plural noun refers to more than one person or thing. Plural nouns are made by the addition of s, es, ies, or ves. For example, the word boys. You add the letter s to the word boy and you get boys. You add the letters ves to the word leaf and it is transformed into the word leaves. And also see the word pen. The word pen becomes pens if you add an s after pen. Don't you see, children? Children, did you also know that there is another type of noun called the possessive noun? Now, a possessive noun refers to the relation of a thing to the person. A possessive noun is made by adding apostrophe s to the noun. For example, this is Ram's umbrella. The above sentence shows that the umbrella belongs to Ram. Today is Maya's birthday party. The above sentence here shows that the birthday party is of Maya. Now, children, genders are of 4 types. Let us see what they are. The first is the masculine gender, which refers to male living things. For example, father, son, brother, uncle, or lion. The second gender is the feminine gender, which refers to female living things. For example, mother, daughter, sister, auntie, or lioness. Now the third gender is the common gender. Here, the word can either be a male or a female. For example, student, cousin, or servant. And the fourth and the last gender is the neuter gender, which is neither a male nor a female. For example, all those things without life, like books, tree, eggs. Children, do you know what compound nouns are? I'll tell you. Compound nouns refer to the new word formed by combining two or more words. For example, class plus room equals to classroom, and ice plus cream equals to ice cream. I'm sure you all love ice cream. Children, now let us learn about the pronoun. It is a very important part of grammar. So children, remember and understand it very, very well. A pronoun is a word which is used in place of a noun. For example, Rahul is absent because he is ill. In the above sentence, children, the word he is a pronoun because it is used instead of Rahul. Now in our second example, this house is very old. It is falling down. In the above sentence, the word it is a pronoun because it is used instead of the thing house. Children, now let us learn about a personal pronoun. A personal pronoun refers to some specific person, place or thing. And personal pronouns are of three types: the first person pronoun, the second person pronoun and the third person pronoun. Now, the first person pronoun refers to the person speaking. Example, I saw an elephant. The words I and we are first person pronouns. Second person pronouns refer to the person spoken to. For example, you. Do you have an extra pencil? And the third person pronoun refers to the person or thing or people or things spoken about. For example, he, she, it, they. All these are third person pronouns. Ram said he had met her. In this sentence, the words he and her are third person pronouns. Did you all understand, children? Okay, children. Now let's learn about possessive pronouns. Now, what is a possessive pronoun? A possessive pronoun refers to ownership. That is, something belonging to somebody. Possessive pronouns are of three types. The first person pronoun. Example, mine. This book is mine. We use the word mine for the ownership of the first person. The second person possessive pronoun. This book is yours. Here we use the word yours to refer to the ownership of the second person. The third person possessive pronoun. This book is hers. Here we use the word hers to refer to the ownership of the third person. Words like his, hers, theirs, all these words are used as the third person possessive pronouns. Children, now let us learn about reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns refers back to the subject of the sentence, where reflexive noun is the object of the sentence. For example, I saw myself in the mirror. Here, myself refers to the person or thing that is the subject. A reflexive pronoun can also be used to emphasize nouns and pronouns. So, it is also called as emphatic pronoun. Example, Tom has done his work himself. Hey children, now let's learn about demonstrative pronouns. A demonstrative pronoun is mainly used to point out persons or things. This and these are used for persons or things that are near the speaker. That and those are used for persons or things that are away from the speaker. For example, this is my bag. In the above sentence, the word this is pointing to the bag which is near. That is my school. In the above sentence, the word that is pointing to the school which is not near. Okay children, now let's all learn what are interrogative pronouns. Oh my, what a big word that is. An interrogative pronoun is used for asking questions like what, which, who, whom and whose. For example, what are you doing? Which color do you want? I'm sure you all keep asking questions all the time. Okay children, now let's learn another pronoun. A reciprocal pronoun. A reciprocal pronoun is used to convey a two-way relationship with the help of words like each other and one another. For example, they help one another. Best friends share everything with each other. Children, now let's learn about indefinite pronouns. An indefinite pronoun refers to a person or thing in general, but not to any particular person or thing. Some indefinite pronouns are all, any, some, none. For example, we did not see any of them again. Is anyone there? Someone was sitting in my chair. Determiners. Children, determiners are very easy to understand. A determiner is a word that determines the noun. The most common determiners are a, an and the. For example, a box or a box. An apple, the rose. The words a, an and the help the reader or speaker to understand whether we refer to a specific person or thing in general. A is used before the nouns to make proper nouns to common nouns. An can be used in front of the words starting with the letters A, E, I, O, U. which are vowels. Example: a cow is a useful animal. I want to eat an orange. The is a definite article and is used for a particular person or a thing. Example: he can play the game. Verbs. Children, verbs are of many types and are very, very important. So, first let's understand the very simple form of verbs. Verbs are words or a group of words that refer to actions and states. Verbs are sometimes known as action words. For example, the girls were singing. Hari is laughing. Here, the words singing and laughing are showing action. Primary verbs are be, have, and do. The following table explains the role of these primary verbs. For example, what is your name? In this sentence, the word is the verb of be in simple present tense. Where were you? In this sentence, the word were is the verb of be in the simple past tense. The infinitive verb is the part of the verb often used with the word to. For example, we eat to live. Birds love to sing. Participle verbs are of two types. Verbs with present participles formed with ing. For example, a girl is carrying the basket. We are standing in a queue. Verbs with past participles formed with using ed or en. For example, I finished my work. Ram has given me a book. Regular verbs. Most of the words are regular verbs, adding s and ed at the ends to change their forms. Irregular verbs. However, there are some irregular verbs. They have different ways of forming past tense and past participle. The imperative verb. The imperative verb is used to give orders, instructions, or to make suggestions. For example, please keep your mouth shut, or open your books. The imperative verb is made from the basic form of infinitive verb without using to. The imperative form is only used when we are talking to another person. An action verb refers to the actions or things that are happening regularly. For example, I do my homework every day. Or, Mom cooks the food for us every day. The stative verb refers to states or conditions. For example, I am a good boy. I like to go to the garden. Saying verbs refer to the verbs that express what we or other people speak, like tell, whisper, shout, say, reply, etc. My grandmother tells me a story at bedtime. Whispering is a bad habit. A phrasal verb with a verb, an adverb, or a preposition gives a special meaning. The following sentence uses phrasal verbs. She keeps on crying. Dolly goes there daily. A transitive verb means the action which passes over from the subject to the object. For example, the boy kicks the football. The verb passes from the subject to the object. He spoke the truth. The intransitive verb means that the action does not pass from the subject to the object. For example, the boy laughs loudly. How do you do? Here, the verb stays with the subject only. Tenses. Hey children, tenses are so simple that they are connected to our speech and we use them while talking every day. Children, when verbs are present in different forms, we call them tenses. A tense tells us about the time of the action that takes place, whether it is happening in the past, the present, or in the future. Let me explain this with the help of the same verb, work, in all the sentences. Present tense. Simple present tense. This refers to actions and events that are taking place in the present and are happening regularly. Example, he works hard. Present continuous tense. This refers to actions and events that are happening now in the present. For example, he is working hard. The present continuous tense has a formula you should remember. The formula is simple present tense of be plus present participles of the main verb formed by adding ing to the verb. Past tense. Simple past tense. This refers to actions and events that have happened in the past. For example, he worked hard. Past continuous tense. This refers to actions and events that were happening in the past. The formula for this is simple past tense of be plus present participles of the main verb formed by adding ing to the verb. Example, he was working hard. Future tense. This refers to actions and events that have not yet taken place but would happen in the future. Words like will, shall, should, going to are used. For example, he will work hard. The verb and subject agreement. When we speak or write, we must be sure that the verb and the subject used in our sentence agree with each other in person and in number. This is known as an agreement. Care should be taken to see that when the subject is singular, the verb should also be singular. For example, Bobby dances very nice. He reads the book. When the subject is plural, the verb should also be plural. Example, Bobby and Tia are dancing very nice. We are reading books.
Modal verbs. Hello children, my name is Dodo. Fufu has gone out and asked me to teach you what are modal verbs. Some of the words used are as can, could, may, should, ought to, must. Modal words or modals are used with other words to express meaning. They express as ability, possibility, permission, suggestion, politeness, and obligation. Can usually expresses ability or capacity, permission. Can you lift this box? He can work hard for his exams. Can I come in? Could and might is used to express permission, possibility, and ability. The news might be true. Could I do it? May is used to express permission, possibility, and impossibility. It may rain tomorrow. You may go now. May not be true. Should is used to express duty, obligation, possibility. Children should obey their parents. He should be in the office now. Ought to is used to express obligation, desirability, and strong probability. We ought to help him. Daniel ought to win. Will is used to express request, invitation, or probability. Will you have tea? That phone call will be from Mom, I think. Must is used to express necessity, obligation, determination. We must do our lesson. Granny must be 90 years old.
So great is the world in which we live. It has so much to give, so much to give. There is so much to know while we grow. Lots of things to learn and places to go. So great is the world in which we live. It has so much to give, so much to give. So